he going to kill Sean?
They held each other, saying nothing now, their eyes on their sleeping son, but only for a moment. The Metro cops would be here very soon. While they stood in the open front door waiting, Savage said, "I asked the dispatcher, it was Jordan Cates, to send them in silent." He kissed her forehead. "They'll be here any minute now." "Did anything about him seem familiar to you or strike you as different?"
It happened so fast. I don't think so. Wait. His voice was young, Dylan, and he moved young, too. Something else, when he told me he could kill Sean even if I shot him, I think I heard fear in his voice. But then again, he hadn't expected any trouble.
Maybe he'd talked himself into coming after Sean, but he didn't have another plan if he was challenged. She nodded.
Well, at least we have the knife, for all the good it will do us. He was wearing gloves. Dylan, I went after him, emptied my magazine, but I missed him. I actually missed him. Me! Can you believe that?
He loved hearing the outrage in her voice. It meant she was getting back on an even keel. Even you have to miss sometimes. You were terrified for Sean, pumping out adrenaline and so hyped you could have rocketed yourself to the moon. I hear a car coming. You can fill in the blanks when we tell the police what happened.
Okay. I've got it together. Well, I'm close. Thank heavens we had a plan in place if those 3 beeps ever sounded. Otherwise...
She paused then, her voice shaking.
Without the suppressor, I think Sean would have freaked. Even so, it was loud. So fast, Dylan. It all happened so fast. I wonder why he never fired back at me.
He knew if he hesitated, turned back to you, you'd nail him. A Metro squad car pulled into their driveway, cut its lights, and 2 officers climbed out. "Agent Savage?" After introductions, Sherlock gave them a quick rundown. Then Officers Petit and Paulette headed out to search the neighborhood. They were back 10 minutes later. No sign of their intruder. Not that Savage or Sherlock expected them to spot him. Paulette said, "No lights on in any houses, so the sound of the car engine didn't wake anybody up. And no neighbors standing on their porches to tell us anything," said Petit. Savage was studying his security system beside the front door. He called, "Come look at this." Both Paulette and Petit looked over his shoulder to where he pointed. "That's more wires than the back of my TV," Paulette said. "Looks untouched to me," Petit said, leaning in. "But how can that be possible? The guy got into your son's window. It's alarmed, right?"
Oh, yes.
"I'm thinking we've got a guy with major computer skills. You think he disabled the alarm system remotely using his computer?" Savage nodded. "To do it, he'd have to be very good, because I upgraded the system myself. But he succeeded, and now I'll have to figure out how he did that and fix it."
The 3 men studied the complex mess of wires for another couple of seconds. Then Paulette turned to Sherlock.
"Could we go inside? You can tell us exactly what happened."
They went into the living room, and Officer Paulette switched on a recorder. Sherlock went through it all again, answered their questions, and finished with, "I can't tell you what he looked like. He wore a stocking mask, but I do believe he was young, 25 at most. When he ran across the yard, I saw he was limping a bit. From the jump? Maybe. I didn't notice a limp when he was in Sean's bedroom." She closed her eyes, pictured him. It was his left leg. They asked questions, Sherlock gave more details, and finally Officer Paulette switched off his phone recorder and smiled at her.
"You really told him you'd shoot his head off?"
Paulette, no more than 25 himself, had a great smile, and Sherlock found herself smiling back as she nodded.